Hey, let's do some drop-off line sports. Oh, I know it's about 9:30 right now, isn't it? So we had some stuff to do a little bit earlier, but we're good to go right now. The driveway edition of drop-off line sports on a Thursday. Quick reminder, today we're going to be up in Fishers, Joe's Grill in Fishers, Larceny and the Larceny Locks, and the Lunazul Tequila shots coming up with Brent Halverson. That's later on today, and we give you the opportunity, if you come with us, if you join us at Joe's Grill in Fishers, to sip the product. Nobody else out there offers you the opportunity with us to sip the product, right? So we'll do that later on today. Chad, Aaron in Greenfield, good morning. Hello, Jennifer, how are you? So that's later on today. Got a busy show for you, too. Rick Venturi joins us. Kind of an odd Thursday with Rick. Dwight, good morning. Colleen, good morning. But Rick's going to join me coming up at 5 o'clock today. We'll talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars going in to Sunday's matchup here at Lucas Oil Stadium with Rick Venturi. He joins us at 5. The head football coach at Indiana State, my friend Kurt Mallory, joins us later on today. Colleen's greetings from Southern Indiana. Spent the night in Jasper. You know how much I love Jasper. Jasper used to have a great Ben Franklin store. And you know how much I love old school Ben Franklin stores, right? I love old school Ben Franklin stores. Anyway, so, yeah, we got Rick Venturi later on today. Kurt Mallory, the head coach at Indiana State, the football team, is going to join us too. I mentioned Brent with the Larceny Locks coming at you today. Heath, Michael, good morning. And Mo Allie-Cox will join us. Mo Allie-Cox, Colts tight end. I don't know if he's ever done an interview with us. I know he hasn't been on with me. What the world's happening here? Oh. A plane going over my house here. Weird. Anyway, we will talk to Mo Allie-Cox later on today as well. Derek Martin, good morning. Ernie Greenfield, hello. JMV, I just listened to your podcast with Kevin Bowen. How bad was your Twitter regarding... Listen, my Twitter regarding Myles, I guess it'd be considered bad, and a lot of people would suggest, man, are you not tired of it? It doesn't bother me. None of that stuff bothers me. I'm going to be here, and I'm going to support. Listen, I support, but I'm a realist too. I mean, I've seen, it's too easy to see right now. I got people saying, hey, you got to trade Myles while he has trade value. I'm not quite sure he has any trade value right now. He just signed, a big 4-year deal. I mean, his trade value comes at the end of the contract when his contract is expiring. His trade value doesn't happen right now. So, now, I do get, people suggesting maybe he'd be better off with a better team. Here's what I would do, all right? I would do this. It is a month into the season, and he has to get after it, or he doesn't, all right? I mean, his level of play for a longer period of time than just a month is going to determine whether or not he's going to be here longer term, or as Greg Doyle wrote, trying to trade him. To me, it wasn't so much just about him. I think he still has to play better for them to be as good as what we think they're going to be. I don't think there's any question about that. But, overall, the team was disjointed in the last two, and especially last night at the end of the third. But, it's all going to be up to him. It's all going to work itself out. The fact remains, you don't have to work it out right now. There's nothing that tells you have to work it out right now. Sean Patrick Turley, good morning, JMV. Move Collison and Turner to the second unit. I will say this. I don't know how necessary that it is, and I'll stand by that, other than this. If it adds, the proverbial spark to somebody, I'm all for that. I'm all for it. But, I don't know. You could tell last night Nate's trying to keep this thing together a little bit. When asked about Myles and the lack of minutes that he was getting. Here's me with Myles in a nutshell right now. Myles so much wants to be what you want him to be, and he can't be that he has gone away from what had made him a good player. And that is, facing up and shooting. He's trying to, right now with that back to the basket game on the interior, it looks like that, he tries to be strong and tries to be what Sabonis does, but as I've always said, he's just a different player, and I've always said I don't think he's ever going to be the type of interior banger that anybody wants him to be. So what do you want him to be? You want him to be when a couple of years ago he was good. You want him to be that player. And I don't think he does that enough. I think he's just trying to force himself to be something that he's not. And then I think he also works with a level of confidence. And I'll say this, go back to the game last night on that basic first play where Embiid went to the basket and dunked on him. I think that twisted his head right then and right there. So, dude, I don't think there's anything that has to do with Roy Hibbert syndrome. I don't think Myles is worried about Sabonis. Myles and Sabonis are tight. They worked out together in the summer. I think that he wants to perform, and I think he wants to perform for you. But first of all, he's a ton still more athletic and gifted than Roy Hibbert was. I mean, Roy Hibbert was a project that turned into something, and Roy Hibbert was something at the time that nobody had. You know, he was a great rim protector. But that was basically about it. So I don't really make the comparison to Hibbert. I've always made the comparison to Smits, but I'm not sure he's that either, because Smits adapted to what he did best and didn't try to go away from that. And Myles is kind of going away from what had made him a good player up until that point. Good morning, Timothy. Dwight, good morning. Ryan, good morning to you. So anyway, we'll talk about that coming up later on today. But yeah, true story, Aaron Greenfield, it does not bother me on Twitter, man. I mean, it doesn't. Like, sometimes people think that I'm actually the one that's out there playing and not doing well, but that's the way that it is. It's fun, good interaction. Yeah, I saw this too. Ryan says, you see that Ian Book is nursing an injury and allegedly isn't going to play against Florida State. I did see that this morning too. We'll see. I think it's a rib injury, I think, right? He got a rib injury, and it's been reported that he's not going to play this weekend versus the Seminoles. Timothy says, Sabonis is impressing me this year. There is no doubt. He goes after it hard, but we always kind of knew that he was going to be that type of player. I'd always said about Sabonis that Sabonis had the opportunity to be, you know, this era's type of big man more than Myles, because Sabonis already has an inside game, right? And I think you're going to see him even more develop an outside game to where you see him shooting and making threes more. So I'd always thought that. I mean, Sabonis just has a more balanced game. Myles is more of a face-up guy who's trying to protect the rim. I think sometimes he gets caught between trying to protect the rim and then thinking, hey, I got to get more than 3 rebounds. And then he seemingly is always out of position. When he's in a funk like this, the dude is always out of position. You know, I was making a joke yesterday, blaming the ball. Well, you know, the ball goes one way and Myles goes the other way. That's being out of position. He's always out of position. Heath Bartlett says, Des Bryant to New Orleans Saints may be the best team in football right now. BT, good morning to you. But yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. There's no doubt that, and I feel like we discovered something here because I've been talking about this Myles thing forever, and now, you know, everybody's kind of joining in and jumping on it too. So, hey, the more the merrier, right? Christopher, good morning to you too. Drop off Line Sports in my driveway this morning. We're at Joe's Grill, Fishers later on today with Larceny Bourbon. Tomorrow, we are going to be on the east side, one of our favorite places, Manley's Irish Mutt. I'll give you the opportunity to win some Jacksonville Jaguars Colts tickets tomorrow with Bud Light at the Mutt. Tim writes this, Turner is young, Thad and Tyreek are the issues. I think Turner's a pretty big issue right now. The reason why is because you have to play at a higher level, you have to have his participation. I mean, he's got to give you something. He can't give you 7 and 3. You just can't. 7 and 3 and 2 blocks or whatever. But I'm going to be here until the last dog howls for Turner. It's the way that it's going to be. You know what? And it didn't work out well, I guess, but I also was kind of stuck in my ways when it came to Jim Caldwell. I always thought Jim Caldwell got blamed for stuff that Jim Caldwell should have been blamed for. But no, this is not, listen, I'm not trying to excuse Myles because last night wasn't good, the night before on a Monday night against Houston wasn't good either. I mean, that's something he's going to have to fix. It just is. BT says, I'm trying to leave work before 7 on Friday to make it to the Mutt. I'll be there, my brother. BT, I should be there. Doug Wiggin, good morning to you, my friend. Grant Wiggin, stud. Mutt, Friday. All right, what else did I say? Oh, yeah, we'll have that Colts conversation about the Jags later on today. Well, I'm sure I'm going to get into the whole Myles Turner thing continuously, too, which is the way that it goes. And I don't know what else occurs to me right now. Chad says this, Jackson Davis of Center Grove announces he won't sign until in the early period starting next week. Bad news for IU. Listen, I don't know because, I like the kid a great deal, but I don't know what they're thinking. I've heard like a couple of different things. I've heard that, it's going to end up being IU, and then you hear that Tom Izzo and Michigan State really got a good chance at getting this done too. So I don't know. We've talked to Rab Johns. Rab Johns thinks it's going to be IU. I will say this: if I'm him, that's what I do, because even if you're a one and done guy, which I think is ridiculous in a lot of regard, if you can go to the NBA, go, right? But if you're going to be a one and done guy and you're coming out of this state, at least give yourself a one and done type of legacy in this state. Because when you go out of state, people forget about you. I mean, nobody remembers. Jared Jackson had a great 1 year and was a lottery pick, but nobody even remembers that dude was from around here. Not one. I mean, you're making your mark in high school. Make your mark for 1 year around here. But out of state to me is silly. I mean, it just is, because then you go out of sight, out of mind. And if I'm a player like that, listen, I'm far from being completely over the top pro IU, right? I mean, listen, if I were him, I'd go to Indiana State, right? Because that's who I'm rooting for. But we all know what IU means to basketball in this state. And if IU and Michigan State, if it's coming down to the wire to that, if I'm a local kid around here and at least for 1 year, I want to have a 1 year legacy that people will remember me in this state, I think that's an easy choice. That's IU. Because, I mean, you can say, well, Michigan State puts out pro players. Well, I mean, any place will put out pro players. I mean, this dude is so good. I mean, if he was playing in my backyard, they would find him and he'd go to the next level. It doesn't matter. It absolutely doesn't matter. So, I mean, if I were him, I know what I would do, but clearly I am not him, and all I hear is like the back and forth between Michigan State and IU being it. So, anyway, thank you, Chad, in Denver, Colorado, for that. All right, what else we're talking about? Anything before we go? Doug, good morning to you. Did you guys order some Keith Sweat? Who requested some Keith Sweat? I want her. You and I together. Crazy, so real. See, I used to think I could sound like Keith Sweat. Maybe I don't. Keith Sweat was a good show back in the day, man. All I know, I want. This is a great song. Anyway, Sean Patrick Terley says, which Joe's Grill? I'm at the one in Fishers. Sean, I'll be completely honest, I don't know where it is. Do you guys know where it is? Can somebody tell me where it is? It's the Joe's Grill in Fishers. Now, we've been to the Joe's Grill in Castleton, right? At 82nd there and Dean or Bash or whatever that is. Right? But I don't know where the Joe's Grill is in Fishers. Anybody know? Brooks School Road? I think that's it. Wherever Brooks School Road is, that's where I'm going to be. Oh, Doug says, right on. Like me some Keith Sweat. Uh-oh. Dreams of you and me, baby. She said, oh, all I know is I wanna. Oh, God. See, I can get down with that right there. JMV, thoughts of the Pacers losing? I thought last night, basically, other than two players, they all stank, and stunk, is what I thought. But I'm far from going to do any panic work right now on it. Aaron says 116 in Brooks School, guys. Thank you. 116 in Brooks School. See, you do not like that. I wanna. Yay. This is what we like to call New Jack Swing right here. Hello, Diane. All right, what else we got here? Did I miss anything? Let's hope the Colts can keep it rolling this weekend. Josh, I'm right there with you on that. Gabriel wrote this. Did you see the greatness that was Doug Rafferty of Channel 4 passed away? You know, I retweeted that a couple of days ago. I did. Channel 4, if anybody out there is from around here, remember Channel 4? Not the Channel 4 now, but the greatness that was. The completely independent original programming that came out of the old Bluff Road location on Channel 4 is never, ever going to happen again. Entertaining thousands in this state. Dare I say millions? But it was original independent programming that we will never, ever see again. And they had a newscast that had Doug Rafferty was the anchor. I think Rich Green was on it. And remember, Chuck Marlowe did sports there back in the day. But Channel 4 back in the day not only had that, but they had Sammy Terry. They had children's programming with Cowboy Bob and Janie. They had shows. They had a midday show. They had something called RFD4 in the morning. You guys remember RFD4? That was basically the farm report. RFD4, you could always tell because it would go off the air and pop back on at 5 a.m. And RFD4 would be on at 5 a.m. And RFD4 was basically the farm report. But it was incredible, unique, and original programming in TV that we are never, ever, ever, ever going to see again. And that's back in the day when we basically, if you're like me and you lived out in the sticks, lived in a rural area, you got about 4 channels. And your channel, your TV was probably more times than not on Channel 4. It was great. Doug Rafferty was awesome back in the day. Yeah, I know. He passed away, I think, in Maine. RFD4. Ah, that's awesome. B. Wilson loved the Key Sweat. I think I'm going to go ahead and turn off the B-52s because this is not Private Idaho. I don't want to hear that. Yeah, I don't want to hear Wings either. Is that okay with you guys? I don't want to hear Ace of Base. You guys want to hear Ace of Base? Old Channel 4 was awesome. I'm telling you what, there's never ever any programming like that again. This thing wore me out back in 1994. Come down, follow me, old man. I get my dinner from a garbage can. This is called Stray Cat Strut. Meow. Hey, anybody see? This would have been 1983, 82 or 83. The Stray Cats did a concert at the IU Auditorium in Bloomington. The Stray Cats and a group called, look this up, the Bus Boys. The Bus Boys opened up for the Stray Cats. Chasing mice around. These guys actually, the Stray Cats, their whole, 50s kind of thing wasn't working at the time. So they actually went to England, where it was really appreciated, to get their product going and then brought it back to the States. That's what the Stray Cats did. And if you can remember about this time, when got cat class and I got cat style. This whole rockabilly sound became popular with them. And you remember you saw some other artists trying this out too. I'll give you a great example. Queen and Freddie Mercury tried out the whole rockabilly sound with Crazy Little Thing Called Love back in the early 80s too. But these guys actually, their whole thing with rockabilly wasn't working here at the time, so they actually moved Brian Stetzer and I think Slim Jim Phantom, and I forget the other third guy. It's like the third guy in Police, you never remember who it is. But they moved to London, they moved to England to get their sound going and then brought it back here. True story. Stray Cat Strut right there. I'm sure you guys were getting up this morning and hoping you'd hear some good stuff about the Stray Cats. Heath Bartlett says the Bus Boys best known for cleaning up the town on the original Ghostbusters movie. Correct. That's correct. All right, guys, you got to run. Drop off Light Sports every morning right here. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. Joe's Grill, Fishers, 116 in Brook School later on today.
Class and I got cat style.
I'm going to guess next there's going to be a Morrissey song. I'm guessing. Morrissey. This will be Morrissey.
Howdy, I am Slug Sadie.
Oh, this is Slug. I don't like the Sluggo dude right here,
As I
man.
am wont to
I should
do.
like it because I guess he's a legend, right, in Southern California. I don't know. I always got to turn it off when Sluggo's yapping. Pat Kendall's watching too. I'm guessing. I was going to guess that maybe Morrissey would be next, but Sluggo's going to yip right here for me. Oh no, I'm sorry. Tones on Tail called Go. All right, got a quick quiz before we go, you guys. What film is this from? It's a John Hughes film, but not one that you're thinking about. What film is this song from? Tones on Tail, go. Not the one that you're thinking about here. John Hughes film that this is from. No? Anything? We'll have to look this up. But if memory serves, this is on the soundtrack to Career Opportunities. Remember Frank Whaley and what's her name that just... I can't think of the actress's name right now, but she was so freaking awesome. Holy crap. I know it does kind of sound like, oh yeah, a little bit, right? But Tones on Tail was Career Opportunities, I believe. I don't think it was in Breakfast Club. No. Career Opportunities. Jennifer Connelly. Jennifer Connelly in Career Opportunities. I'm still scarred from that. She should not have been allowed to wear that white tank top. I'm still... I'm still scarred from it. Jennifer Connelly, Career Opportunities. Career Opportunities, Frank Whaley and Jennifer Connelly. Good song, though. Chris, you're right about that. Tony Ferguson, good morning. Yep, that is right, Jennifer. Today's obscure movie reference, Career Opportunities. Tones on Tail, go! You guys have a great day. I'll see you at Fisher's later on.